My own daughter-in-law stood right here in my living room, called it an upgrade, while she was secretly plotting to throw me out of the house I built with my own 2 hands. They forgot something important though. This house wasn't built with bricks and nails alone. Oh no, honey, it was built with my tears, my sweat, and every story these walls have heard over a lifetime. And what they didn't count on was that I wasn't gonna let them erase me from my own land. Not without a fight. Thank you for sitting with me today. You could be anywhere else, but you chose to be right here, listening to an old woman tell her truth. And that means more than you can imagine. You see, these days people don't sit down and listen no more. They rush through life, faces buried in them little screens, forgetting that stories like mine, they're the roots of this country. Folks forget that before there were fancy houses and shiny cars, there were women like me, out here scraping by, building homes with our bare hands and broken bat. And now, they want to push us aside like we don't matter no more. But you, if you're here, it means you still believe in stories, in truth, in honoring those who came before. Tell me where you're watching from, sweet. I always like knowing who's out there, who's sitting at their table, maybe with a cup of coffee, maybe rocking on their porch like I do some evenings. Maybe you've been through something like this yourself. Maybe you know what it feels like when folks you trusted start looking at you like you're a burden instead of the backbone. Maybe your own family tried to rewrite the story of your life and claim it for themselves. If that's you, don't you dare stay silent. Tell me your truth in the comments, or send me a message. I may be old, but I still read every word that comes my way. And let me tell you, there's power in sharing. There's healing in it. You and me, we ain't as alone as they want us to think. Sometimes all it takes is hearing someone else say, "Me too, baby. I know that pain." So let's sit here together, just you and me, and I'll tell you exactly how they tried to erase me, and how I reminded them who I really am. My name's Miss Hattie, 79 years on this earth, and every one of them carved a line on my face and a story in these old bones. And this house you see behind me, it ain't just a house. It's my whole life. My everything. Every nail in them boards got a memory attached to it. Every crack in the floorboards tells a story. I built it with my own hands back when women like me didn't have much but a backbone and a will to survive. Lord knows, nobody handed me nothing. I was widowed before I was even 30, left with a baby boy and a pile of bills. No man around to fix the roof when it leaked, or patch the holes in the walls when the storms rolled in. But I didn't sit down and cry. No ma'am. I got up. I worked them fields from sunup to sundown. I scrubbed folks' floors on my knees till my skin peeled. I sewed clothes for other people's children just to keep shoes on my boys' feet. Every dollar I made I stacked it away like gold. Folks laughed at me, called me a fool for dreaming of my own place. Said women like me didn't get houses, we got scraps. But I kept on. Year after brick by broken brick. I built this house from the ground up with these hands. These tired, blistered hands. And when I finally opened that front door for the first time, I didn't just see walls and windows. I saw freedom. I saw safety. I saw a future for my son, Reggie. Now he's always been a quiet boy. Never caused much fuss. But his wife, Carlene. Oh, Carlene. That woman walked into my family like she owned the place. Fancy ideas. Fancy clothes. Nose always turned up like she smelled something sour. She had plans. All right. Plans that didn't include an old woman rocking on her porch. But me, I was blind to it at first. I thought family was blood. I thought if you raised 'em right, they'd always have your back. I forgot one hard lesson this world teaches over and over again. Sometimes, it ain't blood that betrays you. Sometimes, it's the ones you open your door to. The ones you call daughter. They turn around and treat you worse than strangers. The first signs were like whispers in the wind. You know, the kind of talk folks think you too old or too tired to catch. Carlene started making little comments here and there, subtle at first. She'd walk through my kitchen, run her finger over the old wood counter and say things like, "Oh Mama Hattie, this place got character. Guess they don't build 'em like this no more." At first I smiled. Thought maybe she was trying to show a little appreciation for all I built. But then the comments turned sharper, slicker. We were looking at them new senior living communities over on Maple Street, Mama Hattie. Heated floor fitness classes. You wouldn't have to worry about nothing. Like I needed someone to tell me where to sleep or what to do with my days. I remember the day clear as a fresh wound. The house was quiet. except for that old faucet in the kitchen. Drip, drip. It's been leaking for years and I let it. It reminded me I still had things to do, that I was still alive. That day, I was sitting at the table, nursing a cup of cold coffee. Reggie and Carlene came in, dressed all nice like they were going to church. But their faces told a different story. Carlene sat down first, all sugar and smiles, like she was about to give me a gift instead of what she was really holding behind her back. Mama Hattie, we've been talking, and well, we think it's time you consider what's best for you. And out came them papers. Papers with fancy words and stamps. Papers that smelled like trouble. My hand trembled when I touched them, but I held my face straight. The air in the room turned heavy, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. I heard them whispering, not thinking I could hear over the sound of that faucet. She don't even know what's in the papers. Carlene hissed. We just need her to sign, and she can live out her days in comfort. Mama's house is falling apart. Reggie, she'll be safer in that new place anyway. Safer. I sat there, hearing them talk about me like I was already gone. Like I wasn't sitting right there at my own kitchen table, in the house I built with these hands. My heart beat so loud, I could barely hear that dripping faucet anymore. That's when I realized, they weren't helping me. They weren't thinking about my safety. They were thinking about themselves. About what they could get. About the house. I picked up them papers, and the words swirled around like they was written in a language I didn't speak. Carlene kept pointing to lines, talking fast, trying to make it sound sweet. But it wasn't sweet. It was poison in a honey jar. They had drawn up something called power of attorney. Said it was to help me. Said it would make things easier if anything ever happened to me. But I ain't no fool. I could feel it in my bones. They weren't protecting me. They was trying to take everything I worked for right from under me. My head started spinning. The kitchen felt like it was closing in on me. I felt dizzy, like I was falling even though I was sitting still. My house, my memories, my blood. Now some fancy papers was supposed to wipe all that away. I kept thinking to myself, did they forget who patched these floors when they cracked? Did they forget who raised their babies when they was out running the streets? It was like I was invisible. Like all them years of sacrifice didn't matter no more. And then came the worst part. They waited until I got sick. Just a little cold at first. But next thing I knew they had me in that hospital bed, hooked up to machines. Nurses poking and prodding. They told the doctors I wasn't thinking straight. Told them I was confused. One made them give me medicine that made me feel heavy, sleepy, like I was trapped inside my own body. While I was lying there too weak to speak, they was making plans, selling my things, talking about moving me to some old folks' home like I was a piece of broken furniture they needed to store away. I laid there listening. Couldn't talk, couldn't fight, just listening. And inside I felt something break. Not just my heart, but my trust. My own family, my own son, my own daughter-in-law, plotting behind my back. And I knew if I didn't find a way to stop them, they was gonna take everything I had left. But you know, sometimes when the world feels like it's turning against you, God sends you a little light in the dark. For me that light was my granddaughter, Keisha. Now Keisha always been different from the rest of them. Got that fire in her. She don't take no mess from nobody. Folks say she got her stubborn streak from me, and maybe they right. Keisha would come by the hospital to see me, bring me little things, like my favorite candy, or just sit by my bed, hold my hand, whisper things in my ear that made me feel like I wasn't all the way gone. She noticed things them doctors and nurses. She saw how they kept me on pills that made me sleep more than I should. She saw how Carlene and Reggie was always hovering, always whispering when they thought I was out cold. One day Keisha heard him talking in the hallway, heard him saying how once them papers got signed they could sell the house, split the money and ship me off where I couldn't bother him no more. Keisha ain't no fool. She knew something wasn't right. That girl got herself on a bus to the county records office, sat there digging through old files, asking questions. And what she found, Lord, it gave me back my fight. Turns out, them papers they was waving in my face, they wasn't even done right. They never had my real signature on the deed. They thought I was too old, too weak to remember what I owned. But Keisha found the loophole. She told me straight in my ear, Grandma, they lying to you. They can't take what you didn't give. You still got the right to that house. And I'm gonna help you make 'em remember that. And right then and there, lying in that hospital bed, feeling weak as a kitten, I felt something stir back up inside me. I wasn't alone after all. Keisha had my back, and together we was about to remind him this old woman wasn't finished yet. After Keisha told me what she found, I knew I couldn't just lay there no more. I told her, baby, help me up, get me out of this place. She smiled and said, Grandma, I've been waiting on you to say that. So the next morning she wheeled me right out of that hospital. I was weak, but I wasn't broken. Keisha took me straight to Mr. Johnson, the old lawyer in town. He's been around longer than most, knew me from way back when I first bought this land. He looked at me, eyes soft, but his face turned hard when Keisha showed him them papers. He said, Miss Hattie, they thought you was sleeping. They thought you was done. But I've seen you fight before. You ain't done yet. We sat there in his office, me with my hands shaking, heart heady like a bag of bricks. But when I opened my mouth, my voice didn't tremble. It came out strong like the woman who built her life one nail at a time. I told Mr. Johnson, I built that house with my own 2 hands. No paper is gonna tell me I don't belong in it. He nodded and told me, then let's remind him. We filed the papers right then and there. Keisha stood beside me the whole time, holding my hand, telling me we got this. And you know what? For the first time in a long time I believed her. It wasn't just about the house anymore. It was about my name, my history, my fight. I was tired, but I wasn't ready to let them write the last chapter of my story. I may not have had fancy lawyers or big city connections, but I had the truth on my side. And sometimes, that's all you need. A week later I told Keisha to call Reggie and Carlene over. I told her, I want them to look me in the eye. I ain't hiding no more. They came, all dressed up like they was coming to Sunday dinner. Carlene had that same fake smile on her face, trying to act sweet. She walked right into my house like she still owned it, looking around like she was checking the walls for dust. I didn't waste no time. I stood right in the middle of my living room, and told him plain and clear, you called it an upgrade. Well, you can take your upgrades and get off my porch. Carlene's face changed quick. She tried to put on them fake tears, acting like I was the one being unfair. Mama Hattie, we were just trying to help you. We thought you'd be safer, more comfortable, but I wasn't having it. I leaned in, looked her square in the eyes, and said, don't play innocent with me, Carlene. You forgot who built this house. You forgot who patched these walls, who fed your babies when you was too busy running the streets. You forgot who taught you how to stand on your own 2 feet. She opened her mouth like she had something else to say, but I held up my hand and she went quiet. There's a power in silence, in standing your ground without yelling. I let that silence hang in the air like a hammer about to drop. Reggie wouldn't even look at me, couldn't meet my eyes. That's when I knew they wasn't sorry. They were just sorry they got told him both. This house is mine, and if you want to take anything from me again, you better come with more than lies and papers. You better bring an army. They didn't say much. After that, Carlene grabbed her purse. Reggie followed behind her like a lost puppy, and they walked out that door. And I stood there on my porch, watching him go, standing taller than I had in years. First thing I did after they left, I changed them locks. Bought the biggest, strongest locks I could find. Keisha helped me screw 'em in tight. She laughed, said, ain't nobody walking up in here again, Grandma, unless you let him. And I told her, that's right, baby. This is my house, and I'm gonna protect it like I should have done all along. That night, me and Keisha sat on the porch together, just the 2 of us, watching the sun dip down behind the trees. The sky turned that deep orange and purple, and the wind blew soft through the old oak tree in the yard. It was quiet, but it was the kind of quiet that feels good, like peace, like the house itself was breathing again after holding its breath for too long. Keisha leaned her head on my shoulder. She said, Grandma, I'm sorry they did you like that. I told her, ain't your fault, baby, but I'm glad you were here. You reminded me who I am. I forgot for a minute. We sat there for a long time, just rocking back and forth. No need for many words. The house creaked like it always does. The porch swing made that old familiar sound, and I felt something inside me settle, like I finally took my place back, like I was home again in my own skin. I looked up at them old walls and smiled. These walls may crack, Keisha, but they still stand, just like me. And right then I knew, as long as I got breath in my body, I ain't letting nobody take what's mine again, no matter who they are. A few weeks passed. I thought that would be the last I'd see of Carlene, but one afternoon, she showed up. I heard her car before I saw her face. She didn't walk up like she used to, all proud and bold. This time,
She moved slow, head hanging low, eyes not even meeting mine. She stood at the edge of my porch, twisting her hands like she didn't know what to do with them. Finally she mumbled, "Mama Hattie, I just came by to say I'm sorry." Her voice was soft, shaky, like she was scared of what I might say back. I didn't say nothing right away. I let that silence sit between us, heavy, thick like the summer air before a storm. She shifted from foot to foot, waiting for me to say something that would make it all better. But I wasn't about to hand out easy forgiveness. No, ma'am. Some things can't be fixed with words. Some cracks stay in the wood, no matter how much polish you rub on it. Finally, I looked at her, told her plain and quiet, "You did what you did, Carlene, and you can't undo it now. I ain't got hate in my heart for you, but I ain't got trust neither. You gotta earn that back, and that takes time. Lotta time." She nodded, tears welling up, but I didn't comfort her. That wasn't my place no more. She turned and walked off my porch, wiping her face like a child who just got scolded. I sat back in my chair rocking slow, felt no joy in seeing her cry, but I felt peace, I felt dignity. Sometimes, standing your ground means saying less, and letting the truth hang in the air all by itself. She had to carry that now, not me. Sometimes, the deepest hurts don't come from strangers. They come from the people you let sit at your table, the people you raise up, the ones you trust with your heart. That's the hardest kind of pain, but you can't let it break you. You can still stand your ground. You can still hold your head high and protect what's yours. This old house, it's taught me a lot over the years. Taught me that love don't always shout loud.
Someone's love is quiet. It stands still. It holds steady, even when the storms roll in and shake the windows. Even when people try to tear you down, you stand like them old trees out back. Roots deep, leaves battered but still standing. If you're out there right now fighting for what's yours, if someone's trying to take from you what you built with your own two hands, you ain't alone, baby. You hear me? You ain't alone. Tell me your story in the comments. I'll read it. I'll listen. Maybe you and me, we're not so different after all. And if you think somebody else needs to hear this, go ahead and share it. Sometimes all a person needs is to know they ain't the only one standing in the rain.